Welcome back. You tuned into Inspired Afternoons, and this is now our educational insights segment. And today we're talking about memory and our mind, and also the working of our mind, and more importantly, how can we use our mind optimally, and also in terms of memory retention. Um, as we get older, do we become porridge brain, or can we train our brain as we enter our middle ages or senior years? Can our memory be still as sharp? And really, it's a great honor and privilege to be speaking to Micheal Abrahamson. He's a South African memory expert and mentalist, and he's recently broke a world record in March 2019 by recording 1,500 digits of pi in under 5 minutes blindfolded. Wow. Michael is a Witsi. He studied at University of Witwatersrand. He studied actuarial science, and he continues his study at the Institute of Actuaries in London. I know at one time he was at Wits as well as a statistician, but today in studio, I said I've got Micheal Abrahamson on, and then the males in the studio, when I mentioned Micheal Abrahamson, they were like searching. They know him, but not a mentalist. They know him from Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons, and that from the soccer commentary. And yes, he was a very welcome guest in my home on Saturday afternoons growing up, because my dad was old school. So he grew up listening to soccer on the radio, because those times international matches were heard via radio. And he just loves radio commentary, he says, because the description and the excitement in that is not like television commentary. So it's always television button is mute, and Michael used to fill the house on the airwaves with the soccer commentary. So a man of many talents and wears many hats. So I'd like to welcome Michael to Educational Insights. A good afternoon, Michael, and welcome.
Good afternoon, Mariam. Salam to your listeners, and thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. So I see you became interested in magic at a young age. You took lessons from an excellent magic teacher, and then you decided that you were interested in magic of the mind, not just the pulling out the rabbits from the hat tricks and getting the watches from behind the ears. So what was the fascination like?
I think for me, magic was a way to get over my shyness, because when I was growing up, I was very, very shy at school. And then getting into broadcasting, as you've mentioned, you gave me such a lovely introduction. So thank you so much for that. Getting into broadcasting and getting into magic and performing was a way for me to get used to and be comfortable with being around people and performing for people. And then when I did that for a while, I did kids' parties and I did a few magic shows, but every show is exactly the same. And I thought I want to rather use these skills to try and empower people if I possibly can. So I got into magic of the mind, and I used the techniques to educate people, to show school kids how to study properly for exams and tests, how I show corporate clients, for example, how to use their mind productively, that they can remember anything they want to remember, and they can put their mind to good use. Rather than just having an entertainment element, I wanted it to be an education element as well. So I think that's where the fascination developed.
And Michael, so you know what? That was something that I pride myself on. I had a good memory retention through my early days, even at university, in school. And I think that's what got me through my ability to remember information and facts. And I remembered in grade 9, I don't know, somewhere I went along the line, I got lazy or distracted with friends, and I studied for business economics, those days, standard 9. The night before, I burned the midnight oil or midnight candle, and I studied the night before. And yes, at the end, I achieved 92%. And I think in university as well, something like sorting in terms of, I did a filler in communication one, and I wasn't focused on that, but I just needed to pass it to obtain my degree. And I think 2 or 3 days, I just studied the whole book, and it was MCQs, and I achieved 99%. But within the past 3 years, I can't remember. If somebody has to give me their address, if I don't write it down, I'm forgetting. I see somebody's face in my mind and I forget the name or the surname or something like this. So is it because I perhaps peaked too early, or what goes wrong when you have a loss in terms of memory retention?
Okay, you definitely didn't peak too early, and congratulations on those great results. I don't advocate for anybody to be studying and crash learning the night before an exam
Neither do I.
because what happens
It was
is
in
that
our youth days, we've improved from now.
yes,
Those were those days, when we all been there in school, university. But now, like you say, consistent studying is my mantra. But
okay.
yes, so you can go ahead now.
All right. So basically, what happens is whatever you learn stays in your mind for about 20, stays in your
Mhm.
memory for 24 to 48 hours, and then it disappears. So the problem is if you don't continually revise and recap and go over things many times, it disappears from your memory. And when you go into the exam, the problem is, although you've learned the skills before or you've learned the facts, you're unable to recall them under exam pressure. So what you need to do, my best advice for anybody who wants to be able to recall things is revise frequently, revise often, and use different techniques. So, for example, if you're learning, don't only read out of a book, write and make your own summary notes, record some of the information and listen to it, maybe on your iPod when you may be traveling in a car or going on a walk or at gym or something like that. There's plenty of opportunities for you to be able to lock information into your mind in varying degrees. And if you can do that, you actually strengthen your recall ability and it will perform for you under pressure. So I think what a lot of people do is they say to themselves, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. They say to themselves, I have got a terrible memory. I've never been able to remember anything. And then they start believing it. And people tell them you've got a bad memory. And then they say, you know what? I don't need to remember. I'd rather write things down because I've got a terrible memory. So if you use that as an excuse, your brain, as powerful as it is also incredibly lazy. So what happens is your brain says, you know what? I've got a terrible memory. So what I'm going to do is switch off and rely on notes and reminders and little notes on my phone to give me the information that I need. If you actually allow your brain to work and perform those tasks, you'll be amazed at how your brain is successful in being able to recall information for you under pressure. But it's a matter of believing in yourself and training your brain to do it almost automatically, almost as if you're driving a car.
So, Micheal, I'm an early childhood development specialist, and I work with children who experience memory retention or certain barriers to learning that is due to memory retention. Can a learner who struggles or has a barrier to learning and which is attributed to memory retention, can somebody like that be helped in terms of training their mind to improve their memory?
Absolutely, of course. And I do that all the time. I mean, I have kids on my courses who are ADD, ADHD. They can't focus for more than 3 minutes without having some sort of distraction. Kids who maybe from a young age didn't have these basic skills. And it's a matter of learning them. You're never too old to learn. I've had parents, I've had grandparents on my courses. If you want to and you're committed to it and you're prepared to learn the techniques and start applying them, there's no limit to what you can do. It doesn't matter about your history and how bad your memory was in the past or what learning difficulties you might have had. You can learn the right techniques. And if you have the right techniques, you'll be amazed at what you can do going forward. So my answer to you is, there are no barriers other than barriers that we impose ourselves on our own minds. But as far as your mind is concerned, it's powerful enough to pretty much overcome any barriers that might get in the way.
Fascinating. And tell us a little more in terms of, I just want to explore this because really it's a feat that you are South Africa, you've broken a world record in terms of the competition you had in terms of remembering this thing. So what is this competition? Because maybe somebody who's taken the techniques and that they want to pursue something like this, what does it entail? Is it something in the lines of like a spelling bee competition where you need, and this is maybe with mathematics or things like that? What is this competition all about?
It's a very, very advanced spelling bee type competition, but effectively what happens is it happens all around the world. So it's in a lot of different countries around the world. And on the 14th of March every year, that's known as World Official Pi Day, because the number pi is a mathematical constant and it starts with the digits 3.14. So because it's 3.14, it's 314. So it's the 14th of March, and that's why it's Pi Day. It's a number that doesn't have any patterns. It's basically a continuing number. It goes on forever, and it goes on with completely random digits. And to break a record, what you have to be able to do is recall the digits in order without any mistakes and do as many as you possibly can in as quick a time as possible. So what I did last year, and I was actually planning on trying to break my own record this year, but because of the start of the virus, obviously everything got put on hold, but I will hopefully at some point have an opportunity to break my own record. But essentially what you do is you sit with independent judges who have a sheet of paper in front of them with all the numbers printed on the sheet, and they follow along, and I have to blindfolded recall all the numbers in order. And last year I did 1,500 in 4 minutes and 7 seconds. So that's a rate of about 6.1 digits per second. So you basically don't have time to breathe. You've just got to recall.
Because I was just going to ask you this.
Yes.
Did you have to learn breathing techniques as well?
Yes.
Besides remembering this, I'm sure you had to go for some breathing techniques and learning to speak very quickly.
Well, yes, well, speaking quickly is not a problem for me through my broadcasting days.
Yes.
I've always spoken quickly as a radio broadcaster, as you've said. I learned to talk quickly, but so that's not an issue. But the issue is being able to time your breathing at natural pauses in the sequence. So you can't, for example, start the sequence and just take a breath, because that takes 1 or 2 seconds out of your time. And when you're trying to be as fast as possible, you have to, every second counts effectively. So yeah, it was difficult. I practiced a lot. So what I used to do is practice 100 digits at a time. It took me about probably a day to learn 100 digits, and then another day to go through it and lock it into my brain. And then the next day I'd do another 100 and lock them in. So it took to learn 1,500 digits, probably took me about a month to go through, and then to revise it a few times until I was confident to say it under pressure. That was probably another month or two. So the whole process took me probably close to 3 months to lock that information in, but it was continual practice. I used to practice driving in my car. I used to practice when I was on walks. I used to just go over it and over it and over it. I used to record it on my cell phone and listen back to it. I used to test myself by writing a program in the computer and typing the digits in. So different skills that I used to use to lock that into my brain. So at the moment, I hold the South African and African record for most digits remembered, and the world record for speed. Nobody in the world has done 1,000 digits at a faster pace. So I'm hoping to develop it further.
Well,
and
we need to give you a clap here and congratulate you, because this is phenomenal and remarkable. And tell me, what's your record for 100 of them? Can you do so? How do you recall your speed for 100 a minute? Less?
So for 100 digits, I could do in about probably 15 seconds. And I can give you a demo in a moment if you'd like me to.
That's what I'm going to ask you just now.
I know, I can read your mind. But what I can...
Yeah. I'm speaking to a mentalist. Obviously, you're going to read my mind.
What I can say to you also is I didn't do it for self-gratification. I didn't do this thing and sit down and think, I want everybody to think, wow, I'm gifted and I've got all these talents. I did it because I think, firstly, it gives me credibility. If I am a world record holder, then people are maybe more inclined to buy into what I'm trying to teach them. And I think it's also a good selling point for people who come on my courses, that they know they're being taught by someone credible. But also it's a way to show people that if I can do it, you can also do it. And if you're willing to sit down and apply the techniques, anyone in the world could break my record at any day, at any time. It's just a matter of applying it, believing that it's possible, and going out and doing it, basically.
So it's a wager that come on your course, practice hard, and we can beat Micheal Abrahamson's record. So that's what this is about.
If you want to, you can beat, but you don't have to do it to break my record. You can do it to just improve generally, to improve your memory, to improve your brain function, to improve your results at school. It's not about necessarily breaking records. It's about being the best that you can be and giving your brain a chance to work at its best for you.
Absolutely. And you know, this is fascinating, because you prove that if you follow something and go through with it and practice and apply your mind to it, anything is possible. And I mean, you did it now, not when you were in your 20s or that, but at an advanced age, later stage in your life, that you still have it in terms of memory retention. And I think that's what makes it all the more phenomenal and remarkable.
Thank you so much. So I know you want me to do this demo for you. So what would you like me to do? Should I do the first 100 digits for you, and do you want to time me, or how would you like to do it?
Because in your mind, you're thinking, I'm saying first 100. Can we do the second 100 then?
We can do the second 100 with pleasure. So just to tell everybody, in case you just think I'm recalling digits at random, you can actually find the sequence. If you Google it, if you type in, say, 200 digits of pi, pi is spelled P-I, and you can just type it into a computer or on the screen, and it will give you it'll give you as many digits as you want it to give you, and it's a whole sequence of digits, and you've basically got to learn it. So you want me to do from 101 to 200?
Yes, please. Can you?
Okay. Yes, of course. So what we'll do is so the first 100 digits, where they end, the start of digit number 101 starts 9821. So I don't know if you have the sequence in front of you, but
we're getting there. My producer is sorting it out.
Okay. And it goes 98214808. That's where it starts. That's where digit 101 starts.
Okay, so I'm just getting Shazia to put it on screen for me.
Okay, and then I can assure you I don't have it in front of me. It's all in my mind. It's locked into my brain, so I'm not cheating. I'm not.
When you do this, so you won the competition, so you were blindfolded, hey?
I was blindfolded.
Am I correct when I read?
There's actually a video on my website and on my social media and on my LinkedIn page and all over the place. People can see the video. There were 4 independent judges, some of whom were engineers rather, and maths teachers and students that I've taught who judged it independently. So I had a variety of different people watching it and just making sure that I was recording all the digits in order without a mistake. Because if you make one mistake, obviously you don't get the record, or the attempt is deemed null and void. So to get the South African and African record, and especially the world record for speed, everything had to be 100% accurate. Okay,
so we've got it on screen. I'm just...
Okay, so you can see, if you have it on screen, I don't know what you can see, but it starts 3.1415. That's obviously the start of the number. Do you have that?
I'm just searching here. There's lots of numbers here. So just
okay, just right from the beginning. If you click on the first 200 digits of pi or something like that, you can.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Okay, you'll see at the beginning, the sequence starts. Just click on it and it will call up the digits. I don't know which website you're on. There are a lot of them that give the digits.
She's sending it through. I'm a bit late. She's sending it through there. So she's put there 3. Okay, so I'm going there. So where do I begin from? And then I'm going to quickly find it.
So do you have the digits in front of you?
I've got the digits in front of me.
All right. So the number starts 3.1415926. Do you have that?
That's correct. I've got that. And I've got the whole sequence on there.
Right. Perfect. So go along to maybe the second line or the third line, somewhere where it starts 98214808.
98. All right. I've got it. Right. I've got it.
That's the second
line from the right. So it goes 98214808.
4808. So that's the start of the. I'll do 100 digits from there for you in about 15 seconds if I can.
Okay. Can we do some drum roll or something like that, Chazi? Let's just get a drum roll and she's gonna time you.
You can say 3, 2, 1, and I'll start there.
Okay. Are we ready, Shazia? 3, 2, 1, go.
982148086647993555223175352824110555282411055596446229489541033891.
Wow, that was remarkable. My finger was. I stopped at 111. My finger stopped at 111. I was still at 111, so I was there. I mean, so. You recalled it faster than I could move my finger as well and concentrate. That's phenomenal. And this you say was all in 3 months.
That's why I had to have 4 judges, because they can't all follow because the pace is so fast. I'm doing six or 7 digits per second, so I had to have people following basically. So I got one of the judges to look at the first line, one to look at the second line, so they could all follow and just make sure that I was recording all the digits and everything was legit. So that's why I had 4 independent judges.
This is amazing, because I think the judges themselves had to go for training in terms of just keeping up with you, because I'm looking at it and you're saying it, but I lost you, and then I just said no contest. You won, and then I pushed my eyes to the 381 to see if you were there. But this is remarkable, and like you say, anybody can do it. So.
Well, you can play it. People, if they want to check, they can play it back at slow speed on the podcast and just have the numbers in front of them and just check that. I promise you, I did recall all the numbers in order. But people can check if they're skeptical. But it's, as I said, it's not about my self gratification or my importance or my brain or anything. It's just to show people that you all have these innate abilities, and it's just a matter of believing enough in yourself and going out and doing it. And if you want to break the record and sit down and put in the effort, it's there to be broken. And if you don't want to break a record and you just want to improve in your own life, generally on a day-to-day basis, that's even more impressive, because you'll notice massive differences. If you eat correctly, for example, give your brain the right vitamins, train your brain correctly, you'll be amazed at what you're able to recall.
And Micheal, what about senior citizens and those that there's an onset of Alzheimer's? Is that too far gone in terms of assisting them with techniques to remember simple things in their daily lifestyle?
Very good question, Mariam. Basically, it depends obviously on how far gone they are. If they're deep into Alzheimer's, then obviously I presume they're taking something for it, and then they need to seek medical advice. Then it might be a little bit too far if they're deep into the process. But if they're in the early stages, you can actually delay the onset of Alzheimer's, or perhaps delay the onset of any other, let's say, brain not working optimally, if you work your brain actively. Because by working your brain actively on a day-to-day basis, no matter how old you are, what you're doing is you're keeping brain cells active. And there are certain things, certain bad habits that people do that kill off brain cells every day. For example, not making your brain active, being lazy, excess smoking, excess vaping, eating very unhealthy foods. All these sort of things are not good for the body and not good for the brain. And what it does is it kills off brain cells. And once brain cells die, you can't get them back again. So as long as you are fairly responsible, fairly healthy, keep yourself fairly nice and active, maybe do a little bit of exercise, even if it's just a matter of going out for a walk for 10 minutes a day. All that is good for the brain. It just keeps the brain cells active, and it delays the onset of any, let's say, conditions or diseases that might affect your brain function going forward. So no, there's no age limit. As I said to you, if you're deep into Alzheimer's, obviously that's going to be a problem. Those are techniques where you need to seek medical advice. But in the early stages, or certainly if you're willing to apply techniques and put your brain to its maximum capacity, you'll be amazed at what you can do. And I've had great results across the board with people of many different ages.
This is so encouraging, because especially when you're caring for senior parents and senior citizens in general, and you'd notice that sometimes they'll ask you the same question and start repeating things and that, and the onset is there. And I mean, if you can assist and introduce them to this simple technique, along with what you said, the walks and ways to prevent brain cells killing brain cells, this is really encouraging, because they can have a better all-round lifestyle. Because, basically, your memory is everything. And that's your ability to define who you are, is your memory and your ability to speak, ability to recall information. So for me, like they say, language is power. I feel my mind is my most powerful asset in my body, is your mind and ability to recall and remember. So, I mean, if there's something out there that's going to help you in terms of memory retention and also improving memory, this is then fantastic. And you are proof of that.
Well, the thing is that over the years, the reason I actually started offering the courses is, as you said, I used to teach at Wits University. I taught there for a couple of years, and my students came to me and said to me, how do you remember all our names, and how do you remember our faces? And because what happened is I used to walk past them in the corridor and greet them by name. And I had 800 students, and they said to me, well, how do you do that? And I said to them, I've learned these techniques. And they said, can you offer it to us? And that's where it started. It started way back in the 1990s. And I put a course together. I didn't really know what to teach, but I started teaching them a few techniques. And then schools have contacted me, and I've flown around the country. I've flown around the world, and I've offered it now with the opportunity of doing it online. It makes it even more accessible to people in any country, basically, or in any condition. They can sit at home and can learn the techniques as well. So that's initially where the process started. And it's just developed and mushroomed. And I'm very excited about the results that have been achieved over the past 24 years.
Micheal Abrahamson, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, and it's been fascinating. And once again, congratulations on your record. And who knows, next year, 2021, we're going to see the headlines that Micheal Abrahamson breaks his own record. I don't know, time or the amount of speed of the recall, who knows, 1,600 words. Looking forward to it, because as our late, great president, our beloved Madiba Nelson Mandela says, it only seems impossible until it's done, and you living proof of that, Micheal Abrahamson.
Thank you so much, and really appreciate that. Yeah, I love that quote from Adiba. I actually put it on my social media regularly just to remind people that nothing is impossible. If your listeners or viewers do want to get hold of me, they can find me easily. My website is Micheal Abrahamson, Michael Abrahamson, all one word, .co.za. And I've also got various social media pages which update all the information. So people, if they want to have a chat or send a question or anything they'd like to know, they're welcome to follow that, or have a look at the videos, which are on my website, on my social media, and on my YouTube channel. So people can find me quite easily.
And if there's youngsters who want to do soccer commentary as well, take Micheal's course, because you need to know all the guys by their jerseys, not by their faces or that. So when you're high up there, you need to know, besides number 7 being Ronaldo, somebody else's number 3, 4. And I think this will help there as well. I think that's where your skill improved as well, all the years of commentary as well. And studying jerseys, soccer numbers and jerseys.
Everything certainly helps. So it's not only soccer. I mean, I broadcast cricket, rugby, various other sports, many, many different sports, but it does help, you know, when you can lock something into your brain and you can recall information at will. It's definitely helps. It helps in all areas of life. So thank you very, very much again for the opportunity to chat to you. It's been a wonderful pleasure and a privilege. And I hope we can inspire some young people out there and older people out there to use their brains as productively as possible.
That was Micheal Abrahamson, memory expert, mentalist, sports commentator, statistician, lecturer, actuary. So a man of many caps, many talents, and we wish him well. And if anybody is interested, visit his website, Micheal Abrahamson, and especially for those that have experienced barriers to learning, he said, with children experiencing attention deficit disorder, memory retention, something worth trying and looking into. So let's take a short break, and then when we get back, we're going to speak to physics